So the Imitation of Christ, chapter 14. I'm on page 142 in the big book.
128.
128.
And 206. 206.
Chapter 14.
Yep. Book 3, chapter 14.
You're down. Busy.
Okay, Donna.
All right, chapter 14, on considering the secret judgments of God so that we do not become proud of our own good works. Disciple, O Lord, your judgments sound forth like peals of thunder over my head, and all my bones shake and tremble with fear, and my soul is seized with trembling. I am astounded when I consider that even the heavens are not pure in your sight. You found sin among the angels and did not spare them. What then will become of me? Stars fell from heaven. What hope can I have? Who am I but dust? Some whose works seem worthy of praise have fallen to the depths, and those who were fed with the bread of angels I have seen delighted with the husks of swine, that is, in pleasures of the flesh.
Okay, hold on a second there. So this is kind of some big language in terms of, just looking at how God is so large and powerful and how we are small in comparison. And so I think that's, some of this book, I have a hard time with sometimes, but just because if you take it wrong, you can kind of look at it as, just beating down on yourself, just be brutal on yourself. But I think this is a good perspective because we're often so filled with ourselves that we don't do any beating down of ourselves. And especially in our hedonist culture where if it feels good, do it. I think it's important to understand the greatness and glory, how great thou art. That's what they had at Mass the other day. God is so great and powerful and wonderful and majestic. And who are we, to question God and to go against God? And even the angels who were stars that fell from heaven, Jesus said he saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven, or when we look at that, these creatures which are so much greater than us, God judged them. And so, I think it's just not a bad way to put ourselves. So we should be humble. I guess that's, when I read all this, it said, okay, be humble. That was kind of my interpretation, which was probably a gross oversimplification. So I'm sorry, Lord, but go on from there.
But I think that's also, too, a nice counterbalance to the part that when you said about getting down on yourself too much, because that actually kind of works in our favor, that we're not as great, so we get a lot more forgiveness. Like the reason the angels, there's a lot of debate about why angels didn't, but the thing is they're judged a lot more harshly because they know better. We're kind of I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but the way I explain it, and that really works for me, is kind of on the hierarchy of the spiritual life. We're kind of like puppies, and that's kind of a good thing. We can do dumb things at times, but we can also mean well, and God takes a lot of pity on us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're children.
That's probably better than puppies.
People like puppies better than children, so.
Point noted. There can be no hope of holiness, O Lord, if you withdraw your merciful hand. No wisdom can benefit us if you cease to rule, nor strength be any support if you do not preserve us. No chastity is secure if you do not defend it. No self-protection can avail us if you do not keep watch over us. For if you abandon us, we sink and are lost.
That's, before you go on, I think it's not just by our willpower that we're able to do it, it's by the grace of God. And I think that's important because people may think, well, I don't do this, I don't do that. Look at them, but it's God's grace is super abundant, maybe in your life and not so much in theirs in that particular area. And so it's not our job. We can judge the actions, but God has to judge the person. And so we love the sinner, we hate the sin.
And also, too, God is super powerful and omnipresent, but we're not. So, I also look at it like God in us works on one thing at a time and molds and shapes one thing at a time. So while if I compare to the next person, something, it could just be a different season, like a different thing that he's working on at that time.
And actually, this is so Benjamin Franklin, which he wasn't much of a good Christian, but he actually worked on virtues, and he would focus on one virtue for an entire year. And the other ones he didn't like go out of his way to have vices in those other areas, but he really focused on one virtue a year. And he did this for decades and decades. And he said by doing that, he was able to root out most of the vices in his life.
Yeah, like keep it conscious.
Yeah, he was really focused on that particularly. He was like honed in to make sure that he was pursuing virtues in a particular area. And so it might be, sloth or greed or lust or whatever it is, but he would really focus on that particular part of his life, and he would, and it seemed to, actually I read quite a bit of his stuff, and it was pretty amazing how it worked, and for other people it's worked too. So God may, if you look at all of your sinfulness, you may be overwhelmed, and so it might be good to start in one area. So if you got like 500, you can say, okay, I'll take this chunk of 10.
Now, quick question, when you say virtues, who was it that has that list of like the 65 virtues? Do you know what I'm talking about?
God has all the list, but I don't have a list of 65 virtues.
There's like a Catholic list on the internet somewhere that is of.
It must be true.
Right, because it's on the internet.
Kyle, did you have?
I think it might be compiled by somebody compiling it from Father Ripperger, because I think I know the one you're talking about.
Okay.
I had a copy of it. I can try to find it again. Because I think it's like more like, I don't know that there's an official list of what is considered a virtue or not. So, but it could be a good guidepost.
Yeah.
Because it puts it under like, and that's different virtues and vices under different like it makes some sub virtues under like 4 overarching good virtues or something. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, no, that would be good. That's a good place to start. And actually, these different lists, when you look at, I just do one at a time, and you kind of look at. That's why when we go through these readings, when something comes up, you put your life. Okay, when Jesus says something, am I that person? Am I that person that's following this way of living or not? And when we get into Sirach, we can actually see more things. So we didn't get far, but I think we're going to stop there and get into Sirach.
Where are we stopping? What verse?
The end of verse 2. We got through 2 verses.